Hi guys, welcome back to MTN's Sunday Roast podcast. Heather and Dale are here today.
Yes. Hello.
Oh, and we're going to chat about check-ins and what's the point in them, why we do them, what we use them for.
Yeah. So well, I guess I'll start.
You can start.
So what are check-ins for? Check-ins are essentially the main hub of what we are able to look at data for every one of our clients that we work with to be able to make the educated decisions on be able to make any form of adjustments they need to their nutrition, their plan. It allows us to review not only their training or nutrition, but a whole bunch of different metrics within their life. And I think that will be a good point to move on to what that kind of involves, as I suppose, and what we actually look at in terms of metrics.
Yeah. I like to treat... I always say like your check-ins a bit like a diary.
I like that.
It's like a wee bit of reflection at the end of the week. But now we've changed them a little bit so people can kind of do it daily. They're adding in their new metrics. Not their new metrics, but the updated version.
I like that.
I like that.
They actually be able to go in and use it every day.
And do their for their weight and stuff like that. Or like their habits, their daily habits. So the metrics that we look at.
Yes.
We'll talk about the habits first.
Let's talk about the habits first.
I like the habits. I like the new thing. I think that's...
So here's a question. Do you normally put the habits in for your clients, or would you allow them to pick their own habits?
So it depends on if we're having before on our call, we talk about certain things that they really struggle with. Then I'll be like, right, okay, that's going to be something that we're going to work on. For clients that I've had for a while, when we done the update, I was like, you put in what you want.
That's a good idea.
But I'd probably solidify that.
Yeah, I think
from now on.
I think the way that I've always done it, especially if it's a new client, is those fundamentals. Yeah. That you want a client to kind of
absolutely always get.
Like steps. As your steps being adhered to the step target that you both have agreed on, or you have told them to hit. As the water intake being hit. Are you getting 7+ hours to 8 hours sleep per night? And is your calories being adhered to by 50 calories above or below the calorie target that you have been prescribed or told to hit? And then, but also when it comes to like calories, I make sure that it's not just the calorie adherence. Like when I say adherence, it's not just the calorie amount. Calories are important there as well, but also making sure that that protein target is getting involved with that as well.
I actually my clients are laughing at it because I've got them on like group chat, and like on Monday morning everyone's been sick lately. Like last week most of my clients were out the week before I wasn't well, so on Monday there I was like, right guys, everyone's been a bit like all over the place. What's 3 things we're all going to like work on this week and make sure we tick off? Genuinely about 80% of them were like protein, because the week before I was like, your meal plan or your goal, or you've done it before, so why aren't you doing it now? Say it's like 140 like per day, they might get like 160 and it drops to 100, and I'm like, you not hitting your protein shows me that you're not planning your meals out, or you're not preparing, because you should be consistently hitting it. So when I'm seeing the daily, that's why I really like the new check-in sheet, because you can see the daily log of their protein. And I'm like seeing that going up, down, up, down, up, down. I'm like, well, why is it like that? And it's because you're not planning properly.
Something's missing.
Something's missing there. And that was really good, because then everyone was like, yeah, okay, you're right there. I'm not planning appropriately or well enough.
Yep. Like that. I think when we look at the rest of the check-in as well, like we just kind of covered habits there. But the rest of the check-in is so much more in depth. So we'll kind of run over a few of the metrics that we as MTN go through with all our clients. So we have a habit tracker. So we have like the basic information of what your weight is for the week, and we also give that as like a daily. We try and encourage each of one of our clients to do a weigh-in each and every single day. That gives them an average. The same with their step count. The same with what else is it there? What else do we have on average on there? So steps, weigh-in, and David.
Their protein. The protein.
Look it up.
The protein is the protein.
Is it protein?
It's a protein.
This is still new, by the way, so we're still trying to get used to it.
It's been 4 weeks.
Shut up, Taylor. Shut up. Well, you two don't know the bloody answer. I don't know what you're talking about.
The one, the averages that come up on the right hand side, the top bit.
Weight, steps, calories, protein.
Right, I was close. Right, so that's your averages, and then the kind of other fundamentals we're looking at is a lot more in-depth stuff. So we've got like your sleep, how was your energy levels, your stress levels, your intensity. Carry on. Carry on.
Can you just
recovery, enjoyment, training.
Food quality, hunger, water.
Food quality, hunger, and water. There you go. There's Ryan Holmes just came sneaking in, but that's
these podcasts are maybe 2 people. But...
No, we've got 4. So that's the kind of fundamentals that we're looking at. But the reason why we look into a lot of that stuff, because when you are looking at someone's just basic like weight or why it's fluctuating or what is going on with the metrics that they're giving us, sometimes it's not just as black and white. It's going, oh, your weight's down or your weight's up. There's always going to be a reason for that, whether that be your training intensity has been like really, really high, or your sleep's been very poor. And it's again, these all kind of feed into each other. So there's no one direct like summary of that. Everything feeds into each other, and it's a good enough way for us to be able to identify the problems or the good areas within someone's week, essentially.
And then we've also got our questions and answer boxes, which I really like them. So you've obviously got
I really like
MTN, so it's mindset, training, and then nutrition. But like often, I think that gives the client a really good opportunity to then look at their habits, their metrics that they've filled out themselves, and go, well, I've rated that a 2 out of 5. So they know that they need to give a reason for that. So it's their time to like reflect on it, either explain or give us a reason, and then that helps us then do a better job with them. Sometimes they won't give a reason for it. Often that happens.
Well, that's why we changed it. So,
and then also, like if a client does, maybe it's like 2s and 3s out of 5, or maybe it's not a very positive check-in, but they've not really gave an explanation of it. That's where we go, right, I need you to give me a little bit more.
Yep, I think that is the one thing that was missing from any other check-ins we've done in the past. It's like, what is your perception of adherence been? That's always been the struggle with,
the scale.
It's like the scale of what it is. So the way we mark these metrics out is through like 1 to 5, 5 being generally could not get any better, and 1 being like the worst that it could possibly ever be. And now we've given them a little bit of a gauge on what like between 1 to 5 looks like, because a lot of people, I think, especially even some of my clients who were nailing it every week and their nutrition was like spot on, they would come back and be like, oh, it was a 7. I'll be like, right, why is it a 7? You always nail, like, I don't know why you constantly give a 7. He's like, oh, because I can always do better.
Because I think some people are really hard on themselves, but some people are really like, sometimes someone's 10 could be another person's 6.
Oh, yeah.
So it's hard to gauge that with each client, because some client, and exactly. I mean, yeah. Like, there's some girls out there that think they're a 10, right? But see, if they were side by side with a Victoria's Secret model, be a nice 5.
Nice 5.
But but that's true. Like, so it's like, it's all about like what they relate themselves to. So if you're with so say you've got a client, but all the people around them have those bad habits. So that person has now improved their habits. But in comparison to the people around them, they are a 10 out of 10. But in our in our eyes, or like our standards, they would still maybe only be a 6 out of 10. So I think solidifying that.
Yeah, I think, well,
has helped as well.
Been the best thing that we've done is going like what a 5 is, and a 5 for us is what we mentioned earlier. For let's use adherence to calories, because that's the best. Like, it's just the easiest one to use. Adherence to calories, 5 out of 5 for that week would be every single day you hit your calories, 50 calories above or below, and your protein target was met with there or thereabouts, and everything was tracked and logged for 7 days on the trot. If that is then being missed, or you're missing a meal, or you are missing a day or 2 days, and then you can scale that back and use and filter that through to a number that would suit that. But a 5 out of 5 is like tracked every day and 50 calories above or below, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Now, what else are we moving on to? A good check-in and a bad check-in.
As in well filled out, or well
Well, a good check-in. So if you open a check-in up and you're like, yes, my client is just absolutely smashed this week. For me, it would be you open it up and you see 4 and 5s.
Yeah.
Their energy levels are through the roof. They have given you some good feedback within their training. You then go and look at the other metrics of outside of the check-in sheet, like their true coach. They've logged all their true coach greatly. They've seen some form of progressive overload, whether that be the repetitions that they have increased on a particular exercise, the weight's been increased, their sleep has been great, no problems with digestion. If their goal is fat loss, they've maybe lost 1.5 pounds to maybe 2 pounds of body weight, and everything is just smooth sailing. And they've got maybe 1 or 2 questions at the end of going, right, where can I maybe improve? Or they ask a question on like what is something like a training related question, or again just any area that they might be able to improve on for next week. To me, that is an absolute belter of a check-in.
Yeah, and I'd agree. But also, regardless of what they're scoring, honesty. If it is like, no, I'm being serious here. But like,
that is so weird.
I just wrote that.
That is so weird. He just held it up and out while I was talking. He was like, "What? That's
really?
I
didn't see it. No, it's on it. That's.
Tell people that I'm actually here.
Oh, by the way, that's David.
David's here. David's just there. That's funny. That I honestly, like, regardless of what your ratings are for everything, or how your weeks actually went, whether it's been bad or good, just being completely honest about it. If you've had any like fuck ups or whatever, if you've got wins, like tell me about them, or like tell me about it all, because then it makes it easier for you to achieve your results, because now I know what's happening and where we need to fix things or keep things the same, or and just like transparency on both ends.
And this is what I say to every single one of my clients. Like, sometimes the worst check-ins, or what you deem to be the worst check-ins, are the most important check-ins that you will ever do. So many people will be like, I've had an absolute terrible week, I'm not going to bother checking. And I went, no, this is the week that you need to check in, because if you're not checking in, you're then essentially just burying your head in the sand. It's zero reflection. The check-in isn't there to get a wee gold star at the end of the week and go a wee pat on the back, well done mate. It's there to reflect on where you have went wrong, and also to celebrate the small wins, to see where you can also push on and improve where you've actually done really well. But the most important part about checking in is where you fall short, and then if you come to like a very busy work week or something is coming up, it's then how you can learn to adapt for that for the future, because at the end of the day, life is never perfect. It's never going to be just like smooth sailing. And if somebody's always been perfect because their life's absolute breeze, and then something happens, and then they just don't know how to pivot. They don't know what to do because they've never really had any form of reflection on a negative week, and they don't know what to do.
I was saying it today on the call actually with like a new client, and she was talking about how she's got events coming up and like she's gonna be busy X, Y, and Z. She's got kids and stuff, and I was like, learning how to like live a better life and achieve your goals while you're busy is actually a good thing, because when it quietens down, you'll be fine. But like, remember during lockdown, everyone was like losing weight, doing steps, doing training extra, because they had all the time in the world. Now they've not got time, and a lot of people have like rebounded. So now people are like, all this happened in lockdown and whatever, and it's just having accountability as well. Like, just that's why I love our new check-in sheet, because you can go on it every day and log something. And I always say to my clients, I'm keeping an eye on that, so you need to update it.
Yeah. Got my eye on you. Got my eye on you. But that's probably the biggest point of the full check-ins right there, in my opinion. It would be a case of accountability, is what Heather just said there, and ensuring that you are reflecting on your week, whether that be good or bad. It allows you to always learn this process. It allows you to give your coach the exact feedback that they need to be able to make the right and educated decisions based on what you've given them, and allow you to excel probably faster than any time that you'd ever done before. So yeah, that's pretty much why we should be checking.
That's why we're always moaning at you to do your check-ins.
So get them done.